Before the war, Russia's economy relied heavily on trade with Europe, and this was a two-way street. The country exported a lot of oil and gas to Europe, and also imported a significant amount of product from Europe, particularly from Germany. Now, the war in Ukraine has caused a sharp decline in trade between Russia and Europe. As a result, Russia is now seeking to increase trade with Asia, with some success. But challenges that the Russian economy will face in the coming years are increasing in their intensity, such as a declining population, a brain drain, and increasing poverty. And the war is making everything worse. Welcome to why war has ruined the Russian economy. Due to sanctions, port closures, and the uncertainty created by the war, the EU has reduced the weight of Russian imports in the total value of goods from outside the EU by 42% between February and November of 2022. This means that Russian imports dropped from 9.5 to 5.5% of non-EU imports. EU exports to Russia have experienced a similar decline, dropping 46% in the same period. On the other hand, in Russia, in efforts to diversify its trading partners, the nation has increased trade with Asian countries, including China, India, and Turkey. Total trade between China and Russia reached a new record in 2022, increasing by 30% to $190 billion, according to Chinese custom figures. In particular, energy trade has increased significantly since the start of the war. China bought $50.6 billion worth of crude oil from Russia from March to December of 2022, a 45% increase compared to the same period of the previous year. Coal imports also increased by 54% to $10 billion, and natural gas purchases skyrocketed by 155% to $9.6 billion. As for India, it also maintains a strong link to Moscow, being one of its main suppliers of military equipment, at least for now, and continuing to purchase a portion of its oil from Russia, despite sanctions and international pressure, particularly from the West. Trade between India and Russia surged to a record high of $18.2 billion in the 5-month period of April to August of the fiscal year in 2022. And finally, trade between Russia and Turkey has grown in recent months. In April 2023, Russia was the top importing country to Turkey, with $4.2 billion, representing 14.9% of total imports, according to the report from the country's statistical institute. Although, with Turkey having changed its position on Sweden's NATO application, it appears that Turkey is doing business with Russia, not to support Russia, but rather for its own self-interest. So, all in all, the Russian-Ukraine war has put Russia's economy in a more eastward-looking position. It has boosted its already developed hydrocarbon exports across Asia while experiencing a reduction in services and products from the EU, some of which are high-tech products. It's not exactly a like-for-like exchange. So, let's dive a bit into the economic and demographic consequences that Russia is now doomed to experience. But before we do, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and comment that pineapple emoji down below to let me know you made it this far. Awesome. Now, on with the video. The war has had a devastating impact on the Russian economy. Its issues can be split into 4 areas. 1. Market access. 2. Technology. 3. Demographics. And 4. Stability and confidence. Let's start with number 1. Market access. Russia's economy relies on the exports of hydrocarbons. Just look at this chart showing Russia's exports by category and compare it to Germany's. A significant portion of these hydrocarbons entered the rest of Europe and contributed significantly to the Russian state's revenues. But now, because of the war, Russia has lost access to this large consumer market. And until significant infrastructure is built to export these hydrocarbons to other countries, Russia will simply have to deal with reduced export capacity and therefore less money coming in. New infrastructure, particularly to China, will need somewhere in the region of 10 to 20 years to be built, depending on collaboration from Russia's trading partners. That's a lot of time and represents a lot of lost opportunity. Moving to number 2, let's look at technology. Prior to the war, Russia was integrated into the global economy. This resulted in its businesses buying from international companies that offered the best solutions at the best price. No big deal. However, technology is a funny product, and like some natural resources that may be available in 20+ countries, some technological solutions are offered by a small handful of companies. With much of Europe and North America no longer exporting technological solutions to Russia, this means that Russian companies have to either innovate themselves or buy alternative technologies from other countries. Now, you might argue that technology from other countries, particularly China, is not so bad. And, depending on the industry, you'd be very correct. However, if an economy like Russia's has grown used to having access to 10,000 companies offering their technological solutions, and 2 months later it only has access to 2,500 of these companies, well, there is no way that Russian businesses will be able to provide the same level of output, leading to a decrease in productivity and therefore competitiveness, and this will have a serious impact on the Russian economy. Now, let's move to number 3, demographics. Russia's population is smaller than it was in 1990. It is shrinking, and to make things worse, its population is also becoming older at a quicker rate than in the USA or the UK. There's really no good demographic news in Russia. What the war will do is make the situation relatively worse. The war will reduce the number of those in Russia's demographic pyramid that fall into the economically active category, particularly individuals between the ages of 20 and 40. This is also the age group that is statistically more likely to leave Russia, contributing to a brain drain, as well as the ones most likely to have children, meaning that 200 or 300,000 dead or wounded Russian soldiers will have a particularly negative impact on Russia's demographics. It sounds very crude, but hey, you clicked on the video and wanted to find out. As for the 4th and final area, we have stability and confidence. You see, being at war tends to be bad for business, and for Russia, it's one of those times. The war has created an atmosphere of uncertainty and instability. Some Russians have even decided to leave the country, taking their talents, skills, and knowledge with them. Many foreign companies have pulled out from Russia. Companies that paid salaries, employed Russians, invested into factories, innovation centers, and in general did their bit in developing the Russian economy. Their lack in presence will negatively impact innovation. If you're a business looking at investing overseas, it is very credible that certain companies in certain industries will rule out expanding to Russia and will choose to set up operations elsewhere because of the concerns of stability in Russia's economy. And likewise, if you're a Russian business, can you access the talent you need? Can you trust the government contract you won or funding from the bank which did a sizable portion of business in Europe? These concerns impact stability and investment, concluding why war has ruined the Russian economy. Now it's over to you. Do you think Russia's long-term economic prospects have been negatively hit by the war? If so, by how much? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment that pineapple emoji below. I'll be in the comment section, as always. Otherwise, take care. Bye.